How grim is the look at March for you?
Oh, look, we can see from the lockdowns in Victoria, the snap lockdowns, which, according to our analysis, are going to cost the restaurant industry over $91 million, taking into account the takeaway and delivery. And that means that they'll have to rubbish about $27 million in produce. That is taking into account delivery. This would have been one of the busiest weekends, both from the Chinese New Year and also Valentine's, all coming at the same time, and with the tennis. So you have the triple whammy against the hospitality industry in Victoria. Now, in other states, the recovery has begun, the states that are not locked down in terms of their local population, but with the borders snapping shut again with states around the country, we certainly will see those restaurants around tourist destinations and in the CBDs, as people are again afraid to work from home, suffer. And we only have a few weeks until JobKeeper ends, and more importantly, until the landlord code of practice expires, and that will leave a lot of businesses certainly fearful of their landlords and potentially being evicted if their revenue doesn't return.
Wes, there is talk of another stimulus. It hasn't been announced yet after JobKeeper. What would you like to see happen?
Oh, look, there are 2.5 industries that are hit every time that there's a lockdown or restrictions. That is accommodation, food service, arts and entertainment, and the transport portion of transport, postal and warehousing. And that's really tourism. And so what happens is when we're the most restricted industry, every time that something pops up as far as a snap lockdown, we need very bespoke, targeted stimulus for those 2.5 industries that can be ramped up and ramped down. And we know the mechanisms in place for businesses to prove to the federal government, to the ATO, that their businesses has dropped are best done through the ATO, through the federal government. We also are applauding states like New South Wales that have the Dine and Discover demand-driven stimulus, and now the City of Adelaide, who has just rolled out their demand-driven voucher system this week.
Look, Wes, I think one of the great complaints in this country is some of the inconsistencies at state level to policies being made in and around COVID-19. Like, let's look at Victoria, for instance. Last night, packed crowds up till 11:30 at the Australian Open, then boom, out you go. Do you think some of the moves by state governments have been heavy-handed, like this 5-day lockdown? We've seen one new case. And what do you think of those inconsistencies as an industry?
Look, ultimately, we're not going to argue the lockdowns. They've happened now 5 times in a row. They average about every 2 to 3 weeks. And so we should expect, as we've said before, that they will happen again. The inconsistency really in Victoria is, why did the government wait? They waited so many days to have a lockdown. They actually guaranteed that this busy weekend, that Chinese New Year, the tennis and Valentine's Day would be canceled. If they had jumped onto a lockdown, if they were going to do it many, many days ago when they had that first case, like other states did, we would already be out of the lockdown in Victoria, and we would not have seen now the one new case today, bringing the total to 14. So, we certainly don't like the lockdowns. We don't like the restrictions. They are the proper health response according to the government. And certainly we would like to see those end with better hotel quarantine and certainly continuing to look at the numbers of people that are returning from overseas that are still bringing COVID into Australia despite the testing regime on both sides.
And what about businesses like Order Up, an Aussie business that has grown 5 times since the start of the pandemic? Is the future more contactless table ordering, and will we see digital companies like these Order Up companies continue to grow?
Oh, absolutely. The table ordering had started long before COVID started with a company called Me and You and Mr. Yum. However, we do expect that this will continue to be the trend, ordering from the table, which actually speeds up the service and allows restaurants to turn their tables faster, meaning that they can make more total revenue. And we do expect that delivery and takeaway will continue to be about 40% of the market because we do expect that we will see these lockdowns and these restrictions well into 2021, if not into 2022, and it will just become part of the fabric of dining in Australia.
As we wrap it up, Wes, you must be very proud of your industry. And look, we've heard all the words, nimble, pivot, blah, blah, blah. But this industry that you work in the people have been extraordinary in the way that they have handled the past year or so.
So actually, in Victoria today, many restaurants are running promotions saying either don't cancel your booking and just have your food takeaway, pick it up and enjoy your Valentine's Day. And many other restaurants are saying, you know what, we're dine-in only. Let's just make Valentine's Day next weekend. And so we fully support that. Certainly the resilience of the hospitality industry is very strong. We all eat 3+ meals a day, and we will continue to do so. And so we will stand behind our industry as they recover through the crisis.
Great words there. Thanks, Wes Lambert, CEO of the Restaurant and Catering Association. Talk to you again soon.